So in this first video here, actually, which one is the more older one? This one? Let me switch to this one. All right. So in this video, I just want you to kind of see, and hopefully you can see my mouse. I'm going to hopefully, let's see. So if you can see my mouse, which I think you can, down at the end of my street, you'll see this telephone pole here. And below it, if you look very carefully, you can see the sidewalk. Okay. It's a very slender piece of light gray. Definitely you can see it differentiate between the road and the gray sidewalk. Now, when I lower the camera, as one would expect, you will see that as of here, we've lost the sidewalk. Okay, the sidewalk is now gone. You'll see as we get lower, the sidewalk is definitely gone. In fact, the little base that the telephone pole sits upon looks to be almost gone as well. Now, as I get all the way to the ground, you can see that the sidewalk is certainly gone. You can see this pathway that walks to a little walk path here. Now, this simple little example is just showing that the higher up that you are, the farther you can see, because you have an increased angle to everything you're looking at. The least angle is this sidewalk. It's very, very small here at this horizon line. So you have to look at it this way. Imagine my dog. My dog, if he is a heliocentric believer, would think that this telephone pole, this sidewalk, is falling behind the curve. Okay, because that's what people who believe in the curved earth think. They think that when we see things get obstructed, like this sidewalk becomes obstructed here, they think that that is falling behind the curve. So to my dog, this sidewalk must be behind the curve of the earth. Granted, I'm 6'2", so I'm up here. This is my height, and I'm able to see the sidewalk. Somebody smaller than me, somebody who's a foot tall or 2 foot tall, talking about a dog or something. Of course, we're just using this as an example. You can raise this up and the distances and start to see what we're talking about and the problem with surveying. Let me show you another video here. This one might be a little harder for you to see, and I think it may be impossible for you to see. What I did is I walked down to this telephone pole down here, and I took a piece of red duct tape and wrapped it around the telephone pole at exactly my eye height. Okay? Exactly at my height, the height of my eyes. I walked up to the pole, put my head against it, and then wrapped that tape right at my eye height. Then came back here to record it, and of course the video is not really showing it. I was using my iPhone. But maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I can barely see it. It's about here. But clearly, when you walk back to this location where we're looking at from now, that red duct tape appears lower than my eye level. Okay, what's the reason for that? Well, it's perspective. Clearly, the distant items appear to get smaller. And if there was a telephone pole behind that one, and I also walked up and put a red piece of tape on that one, and then there was one behind that one, and I put a red piece of tape on that one, we would see a gradual reduction in the height of the red tape as we go towards the horizon. Correct? So people should start being able to see the problem we have here with Jesse Kozlowski, who will tell you that when he takes out his theodolite, which is just a telescope, basically with a leveling in it. But let's say we level this telescope and we shoot it down off yonder. Well, when they see that that red piece of duct tape is below the crosshairs of the theodolite, they say that's the curvature of the earth. That's what surveyors call curvature. So there is no doubt that what's happened here is they've taken perspective, stolen perspective, and called it curvature. And once you start to recognize that, then you'll see where all these issues come in. Because if Jesse was measuring this and he found the height of that red tape and found it to be below the crosshairs of his telescope, he then assumes that the reason it's below is because the pole is leaning away from him because it's a curved earth. So, you can believe that if you want. You can absolutely believe that if you want. However, if you understand perspective and the fact that things get smaller in the distance, for instance, this vehicle down here is a full-size truck. It's like a Ford F-150 or something like that. And from my position where I'm at here, I look taller than this truck. Clearly, I'm not taller than that truck. I'm probably about the same height. The truck's a little taller than me. So you can start to see that as things go into the distance, they reduce in size.